Hello, professionals. My name is Rico and I'm the founder of Professional Lunch. Today, we are going to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. And who is better to help me take this conversation to a new level here than Onnolee and Jessica? Ladies, introduce yourself for the Professional Lunch audience. Onnolee, you go first.
Sure. I'm like sort of scared to start talking because he sounds so good when he starts, right? Your voice, that's so nice. So I'm scared to follow you. I'm Onnolee Nordstrom, and I'm the Osborn Chair of Entrepreneurship here at NDSU. So I direct the Center for Entrepreneurship and Family Business and run a lot of our entrepreneurship courses, our minor and our certificate, and a lot of other programs.
Wonderful. Jessica?
Yeah, I am Jessica Vold. I'm the Engineering, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation faculty member in the College of Engineering here at NDSU. So I serve the entire College of Engineering. I teach entrepreneurship courses to scientists and engineers, some demographic of people that don't always think like the rest of the business world does. And then I'm housed within mechanical engineering for my expertise in materials engineering.
Wonderful. As I mentioned, we're going to keep the conversation about the entrepreneurial mindset. Ladies, please tell me, what is the entrepreneurial mindset?
That's a great question. That's a question, kind of a loaded question. Yeah, there is, lots of sort of different interpretations and different ways that you can define the entrepreneurial mindset. I would say, I define it very broadly. So it's that, the ability to problem solve and think critically. And, really, I kind of talk a lot about that starting with a problem and finding a solution. So, it's broader than just thinking. Lots of times I think we think of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset as starting a business. I would say, it's that, but it's a lot more than that too. There's, entrepreneurial mindset within organizations. And really, I would argue that, there's an advantage of everyone having that ability to problem solve and ability to innovate and think critically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jessica.
I agree. I think for me, it's individuals being able to go out into the world and kind of look at the world differently than other people do, and identifying where there's pain points or where there's a place that we can make someone's life just a little bit better. And yeah, sometimes that means you might go start a business, but I think especially for my engineering students, it's that's just how you're a good engineer, right? You find that place where you can make a difference, and then you go and you create a new creative solution that makes someone's life just a little bit better.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because when we think about entrepreneurs, we think about people who have multiple businesses, not necessarily people who are solving a problem. So, you make the difference. So why is entrepreneurship matter? Why is it valuable?
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good question. And I mean, I would say, I lots of times think about, we tend to say to young people, high school students, we say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about that is that they say, I don't know the exact stat, Jessica might know, but 60% or something of the jobs that those students are going to have available to them, don't even exist yet. Yeah. So we're really kind of, asking the wrong question when we're looking at, just putting them into kind of this traditional job and in the traditional world. So I think entrepreneurship really plays a great role there, because if we have this more entrepreneurial mindset, then, there's that much more ability to adapt, ability to innovate, think of new problems and what problems need to be solved.
Yeah, wonderful. Jessica, anything to add?
No, I think that really kind of hits it. I think about, they don't have these jobs. They're going to create them. And I think, for engineers, entrepreneurship is just important, because that's how we come up with new creative things, right? If we don't have engineers or individuals that are thinking entrepreneurially, we're never going to make the advances in technology that we have today, right? The iPhone never would have existed if Steve Jobs wasn't entrepreneurial, or even within your Bobcats, your Case New Hollands, your John Deeres, you're not going to have innovation in tractors or in equipment if you don't think about, the farmer spends too much time unlatching this door. Let's make it a quicker latch system, and that's how we make the changes that make society that much better.
You said that the jobs are not there yet for the entrepreneur. So how do they know that, let's say a student is in school right now, how do they go about finding out these type of jobs or opportunities?
Yeah. And so I guess what I mean by that is that I don't know that what they think they want to be, what exists doesn't even exist yet. So if they can be, open-minded enough and, entrepreneurial thinking enough to be able to change and pivot and see some of those opportunities, then I think they're, really well positioned to, move forward into the workforce. So I think that's a really important thing for them to think about. And I mean, I work with a lot of organizations in Fargo-Moorhead area, and they're, constantly coming to Jessica and I and saying, we want students that can think entrepreneurially, and we want students that can solve problems. And that I think is really important for the students to know, that even if they're not going to set up their own business, they're going to be appealing to employers if they can talk about how they have some experience in entrepreneurship. They've taken some classes in entrepreneurship. Jessica can probably talk about, we worked with some students a few years ago that actually said, she got her job because she had that entrepreneurial experience and courses on her resume.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. I can see you both are passionate about entrepreneurship. So what got you into the entrepreneurship field?
Well, that's a really good question.
That is a good question, because lots of people say to me, they say, well, so, if you started, you ran your own businesses, started your own businesses. And I actually haven't. I've done, some consulting work. So, a little bit like startup sort of world there. I've worked with a number of startups. I actually kind of stumbled into this world. It was sort of interesting. My undergrad degree is agriculture. So I'm kind of, I think, a good example of like somebody who's kind of evolved and sort of reinvented themselves. I worked for a number of years in the agriculture industry. I was the student that was like sent out to, walk across fields and identify weeds and figure out problems. And I spent a lot of time in combines and a lot of time in the agricultural world. Then I actually went back to school and did an MBA, which turned into a PhD. And I actually studied a community of people called the Hutterites that some people around here would probably know. And what's really interesting about the Hutterites is they're this very unique, sort of very closed communal community that's been very entrepreneurial. So they've, invented and innovated and done a lot of really entrepreneurial things. So studying them actually really kind of got me into this sort of interesting world of entrepreneurship and studying entrepreneurship. And then, after I did my dissertation, this entrepreneurship position was available in NDSU. So kind of just rolled
into it. Yeah. Very cool, Jessica. What gets you into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I have a background in engineering. Actually, I have a background in aerospace engineering to start with, and then mechanical engineering, which is really materials engineering and science.